share as much or as less as you want. And, let us know. Let us know what you want to tell us.
Okay, yeah. So my name is Carly. I'm a 28-year-old mom of 3, a dog mom of 2, and I'm a wife to 1. I live in New Mexico, and I have really become people's TikTok best friend. You let me know if you want me, I don't know how far back you want to go yet, or if you just want me to start on this TikTok journey. Where would you like me to begin?
Do you want to start on how you found TikTok and what brought you here?
So
let's start there, and then we can flow.
Okay. So I've actually been on TikTok for a hot minute. I doom scrolled for a really long time. I was definitely a consumer on TikTok for a really long time. And I would post a video here and there that my silly friends and I made back in maybe 2020. Mm-hmm. I did have a couple of those videos really take off, but I didn't do anything with it. It was just me being a goofball. On December 29th, I got this random email telling me I was accepted into the TikTok Shop affiliate pilot program. And I had an invitation, and I had never known what that even was, what that was about. So I'm kind of a all heads in type of gal. So I just said, screw it. I'm going to try it right now. And I just dove in head first. I started requesting a ton of samples. I had purchased quite a bit of products for Christmas on TikTok. Right. And so I just started reviewing those. And within, I kind of slowed that down up until February 18th-ish is where I found my first live room, and that was Mama B's room. I love her to death. I have to shout her out on here, and I hope that everybody gets to hear her story because it's a good one. But I remember watching her help people gain followers and help people grow their accounts. And I just remember looking at that thinking I can do that too. And at first, I'm not going to lie, I was like, man, this lady has to be making money. I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. This is exactly what I'm going to do. Well, this was I don't remember when the banana happened. But it was around that time frame. And I just remember thinking to myself, why do I have to decide I'm really going to start my TikTok journey right after this ban? Why am I doing this? And I just said, you know what, I'm going to try it anyway. I don't know about you guys, but I felt there was this shift in TikTok that really geared more towards smaller creators after the ban. All of these really big, conventionally beautiful people, were telling their final truths during the last 24 hours of their TikTok, just saying oh, the truth is I actually hated that product. The truth is we were never married. The truth is I had a BBL. And they thought it was really funny. But I was some of these people have given nothing but their life to you. Their money to you. They have trusted you. They've spent thousands of dollars because you influenced them to. And it really upset me. It didn't resonate with me. And I was well, you know what? I'm going to go live. If these people can make money, I can make money too. After the ban, I'm going to try it anyway. So I started going live. And I was very selfish with my lives. My entire thought process was well, how much can I make on a live? What can I do on this live? And I honestly, I don't have a specific moment, but I just remember I woke up one day and I just feel God told me you're not doing the right thing right now. And I just completely, I was revitalized. I woke up and I said, this isn't my live anymore. These are all my friends' live. This is our room. This is a place for everybody to grow because we have got to be done helping out people who don't deserve to be helped, who don't take care of us, who have millions of dollars. We're just putting money back into these huge movie stars or these box brands' pockets. And I was you know what? If I can help one person change their life and just start to provide for their family, something came into my soul that just said, it'll come back to you. And it has unbelievably so. In 12 weeks, I have turned TikTok into my full-time income. I go live twice a day. I can say now, strategically, I can make at least $100 in one live. I know that every time I get on live, I will do that. I now do one-on-ones where I get to coach people. I I have affiliate links. I am receiving brand deals. And somebody in here earlier, if we're on the podcast, if you guys are listening from the podcast and you're not actually able to see the screen, the chat is actually flowing right now. So people can see this here, see everything that's being said. And earlier I saw that somebody asked or said that, Carly, we're all your fans. And that is something that is like crazy to me. Like, it is like this imposter syndrome because I'm just like you. I was telling everybody earlier,
I was on when you did that.
Daylight. You can see daylight through my back door. Okay. I am just a mom. Like, I am just a person. I'm just like you, and I'm just like everybody else. I don't have the money for the BBL. I don't have the money to put all this stuff in my face. I'm not living it out in Maui with the money that I'm making. No, I'm trying to get my family out of debt. I'm trying to get my kids summer clothes. Like, I'm trying to build like this little empire where I can just provide for my family. And I've found a way to do that while helping other people. And it's been amazing. And I love it so much.
And that's what we want to hear. Like exactly what you just said. Like, I've always had that perspective in my mind. If I could help one person, if you could just help one person, then that's one less person that maybe's lost. Or, maybe you have those people that come to your room at night or during the day, because you're like their company for the day. A lot of people don't have friends. They don't have family. They're on hard times. They're whatever. And then we have become families.
Yeah. It's funny that you say that because yesterday somebody told me that this was the only adult interaction that they had all day. Yeah, and that kind of like, that made me, I was like, oh my God, like I'm your only friend right now. And that, you never know. The signature to my email, it's been like this for years. I'm sure, I don't know if I emailed you back, but if you saw it, but it literally says, please smile at strangers. And I tell my kids all the time, smile at everybody you see, because you don't know if that is the only smile that they've gotten all day.
Yeah. I've taught my kids that too. Always say thank you. Always hold the door open. Always say, hey, how are you? How's your day? It's not going to hurt. It's going to make someone else feel better.
Exactly.
So, we've just said so many wonderful, wonderful things. Do you have what are your biggest challenges right now that you're facing? Like, what are the biggest challenges that maybe you can share with everyone else? Like, so that maybe we don't make the same mistakes twice, or, kind of watch out for, or something like that.
So I will say that the biggest mistake on this app was not thinking that I could do what everyone else was doing. I stayed and I watched everybody else, and I let that jealousy resonate in me and just manifest and eat me away, saying, I wish I was pretty like that, or I wish I looked like that, or I wish, instead of just getting up and doing it. We also have like this big fear. I've been through a lot as a kid, and we can get a little bit into that if you'd like as well. But I was really heavily bullied, like horribly, horribly bullied, to the point where I tried to end my own life. Before I was even 14 years old. And I never thought that I could be one of these people because I don't look like those conventionally beautiful people. Like, that's not me. I don't look like that. I will say a lot of people are telling me that I look really beautiful. I'm going to tell you right now, I've lost a lot of weight. I do not look what I looked like a year and a half ago. But you're right. Exactly. We wipe our tears away with money, friend. But I never thought that this many people would care to hear what I had to say. And you would be really surprised to know how many people actually want to hear from you. We are tired. People are tired of being influenced by the news. We're tired of these rich, like these big people, these people with millions of followers to be telling us like how to do things, because they don't relate. You don't relate unless you have been there. And people want to hear from other real life people that have struggled along with them. And so I wish that I would have realized that from the get go. And I also would have realized too that it doesn't happen overnight. I got so discouraged so many times. There are still some times where I post a video and I'm like, oh my God, I spent like 16 hours editing that. Only 50 of you are going to like it.
Or look at it.
Yeah. Or even look at it. Yeah. Literally. Like, come on. So like they never, I still get frustrated like that sometimes, but I've come to realize that like you just have to push through it and actually keep showing up for yourself. Delete it, re-edit, and post it again. I don't believe that there is a specific amount of times that you need to post a day. Nothing like that. I think the question is, instead of saying how many times should I post a day, we should be saying how many times can I post today? Mm-hmm. How many times am I going to show up for myself today? Not just figuring out what the bare minimum is to get successful. It's really all about you and what you are willing to put out there to try to change your life.
Yeah. I was going to ask you this question, but now I'm going to twofold it. So I was going to ask you, like, what would you say to encourage others to stay on the app? But then what would you say to encourage people to stay going live when they feel like, you know what, I've been on here 3 times and I've got 3 people. What do I do? Like, what do you keep doing? Is it just like, talk to yourself? Who cares? Just go back on the same time the next day. Like, what do you think? Like, what were your first couple of lives, all about? And I mean, I'm sure we don't get like 1 million people on the first day.
Some people, you'd be surprised, actually. I've had a few friends that have been like, I had like 800 people on my live the first time. But 9 times out of 10, your first live is going to suck. Your second live is also going to suck. And the third and the fourth and the fifth, they're all going to kind of suck. But eventually they start sucking a little bit less as you find your community. And it can be really discouraging whenever you are stuck at that like 10 or 15 people mark. Like I wanted to give up. My biggest suggestion to you is to get rid of the number that's on your screen. Seriously, like hide it, put a sticky note on it, because if you talk like everybody's watching, then they will. If you lead a room, if you walk into any room with power and with confidence, people will follow you. People want to follow people who can guide them in any way, shape, or form, or entertain them. And I'm not going to be that person that's like, don't give up, keep trying, because I think that that's bullshit. Everybody says that to us, and it's really frustrating. And sometimes we do just need to be able to have a little pity party for ourselves. So my biggest suggestion is like, fake it until you make it. Get on that live. If only one person showed up and it breaks your heart, cry off of the live and wipe your money away with the tears that you're going to be making. Or, I mean, if you really have to cry on the live, you can go ahead and cry on the live if it brings people in. And then let them get to know you. Trap them. And then let them know you a little bit more. It's a trial and error,
It is.
I've done so many different things on live just to try to get people to stay in. Literally, like I've stood up on my stool and like shaking my head around, like, like anything.
We might have to start doing that.
You might have to.
We only get like 10 people. We've been doing this for like 2 months. So we might have to stand on the chair.
I might have to stand on the chair.
It is what it is. We haven't given up, and we're not giving up. And, we'll just keep pushing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I don't remember your other question. I know it was a twofold question. Did I answer both questions?
Yeah, you did. You did kind of in the, we meshed it together.
Go ahead.
Okay, so how has this like changed your life? So like in your day to day, like basically like, did you work out of the house and now you do this, or did you just kind of stay home and hang out and now all of a sudden you're making money and going online?
So I feel like I gotta take that back a little bit if I'm being honest,
Yeah,
because
go ahead.
I won't lie. Hold on.
It's okay. It's okay.
We have construction going on outside, and my dogs are really not
Oh,
happy.
going crazy. It's okay.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
So, I this has begun to change my life monetarily. I'm like right on the cusp of that. So we do love the dogs, yes, but not for a beautiful recording for a podcast. But it has really more so like changed my soul. So I'm gonna kind of go back into my life a little bit. We've got like 30 minutes, so we can do it. I don't, first off, I don't remember anything from my childhood prior to like age 8. I've recently discovered through TikTok, thank you, that that's not a normal thing to have happen. I just don't remember these things. We had a rough childhood. So my mom dated a really horrible guy. My mom and dad's separated, whatever. And my mom dated a really horrible man from like my age 8 to 10. And I mean, this was the type of man I distinctly remember him kicking the shit out of me because I wouldn't kick my dog. I watched him put my mom's head through a wooden door. We grew up in really tough times. I remember being in school and my mom coming in our little Suzuki Sidekick and saying, we have to leave right here, right now. Like pulling me out of school, and we left and we ran from him. He found us, did horrible things to my dog and my horse, and left them on our front doorstep.
Oh my gosh.
He was just
That's
a really
not what you want to
sugar in my
remember.
mom's tank. Yeah, exactly. Sugar in my mom's tank, slash the tires, everything. So I grew up, my dad was like an oil filled seismographer. He owned an oil field seismographing company. And so he traveled a lot, and my father was a very present man. He is an amazing man. I can't speak, enough about him, but I don't think he realized a lot of what was going on because my mom she's got a lot of issues going on. And I don't think that my mom always knew how to ask for help.
Yeah.
So fast forward, single mom. What does a single mom do? But unfortunately, a single mom has to work 3 or 5 jobs, however many, which means that kind of anybody and their mom is like watching the kids. So she left me with a babysitter who had their 30-year-old grown son, helping take care of me, and ended up assaulting me at 10. Because I had like a really good relationship with my mom, I was able to get myself out of the situation. I ran down to the neighbor's house, and I called my mom, and she came and got me immediately, left work. She took me to the hospital, did all the kits on me, had everything done, and pulled me out of school for 2 weeks. And what she trusted a friend of hers that we thought were going to be like these really great people. And turns out that they really liked this family who I was now pressing charges against. And that friend of my mother's had let her daughter know what happened to me and made sure to let her know that I wasn't telling the truth. And so a 10-year-old girl whose mom is telling her that Carly's a liar, this didn't happen, blah, 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 blah. Well, that 10-year-old girl is going to do what a 10-year-old girl does. And rumors start spreading in school. So when I went back to school, everyone knew what had happened to me before I even had the chance to tell anyone on my own. And that is like really traumatic in of itself. But the worst part is they all decided that I was lying about it. They called me rotten grapes. Because if you take out the G, what word do you have? So that's the name that they would call me. They would say that, well, she, if she did it, like, she's definitely a hoe. Like, she wanted to. And like, I'm going to say this to anybody who's out there that needs to hear this. 10-year-olds can't consent. 10-year-olds cannot consent. So even if I was 10 years old and I had agreed to anything that had happened to me, it is still not consenting.
Right.
So people in school had this thing called the Carly touch. That's what they called it. Kind of like the cheese touch, you know. If they touched me, they would immediately go and touch somebody else so that they could get my germs off of me and put it onto somebody else. This happened to me for like 4 years of my life. I didn't, all in middle school, nobody hugged me. I didn't have friends. I learned this like coping mechanism of when I would first meet somebody, I would tell them everything that was wrong with me from the get-go. And that's what I do now. Because if they're not going to be my friend, I would rather them know. I'd rather know right now, because we would have like a new friend come in school or whatever, and I'd be like their best friend. And then they'd hear that, oh, well, she sleeps with 30-year-olds. Her name's on the bathroom stall because she sleeps with 30-year-olds. And then all of a sudden, boom, they don't like me. Right. So at 14 years old, well, actually at 11, 12, and 13 years old, I'm 11, 12, and 13 dating men in college.
It really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And again, 11, 12, 13 can't actually consent, but I was dating men in college. Looking back now, I recognize that those men were really not okay and not safe people, and not anybody I would ever want my kids to be around. You know what I mean? Yeah. But that's what I was doing. And what happens whenever you're hanging out with those type of people at the trap houses and things like that? Well, you start getting introduced to all kinds of crazy things. So I became addicted to painkillers like very quickly, and purposely overdosed on them in school one day. And I will never forget looking up, like I fell asleep on, I just remember I was really tired and I fell asleep in the PE room, the gym, and I was just being picked up by one of my bullies, actually, who just had like tears running down his eyes, and he took me into the nurse's station. And honestly, we've never talked about it since. He probably doesn't even remember that he did this, but he just told me he was sorry and he left. I went, I got my stomach pumped, all those things. And I remember when I came back to school, my principal, Coach Patterson, had seen a bunch of cut marks all over my wrists, and I just there was just a lot of stuff going on. But in doing that, he sat me down and he said, Carly, I'm going to tell you something. You're a lighthouse. And I never knew what that meant actually until about 2 weeks ago. But he told me I was a lighthouse, that I was wise beyond my years, and that people in life are going to leave me and they're going to come back to me whenever they need something. And then they'll leave me again whenever they need to go about their life, but they'll come back to me. And that pissed me off. I was so angry that like he told me that people are going to leave me and come back to me. And I mean, I still loved him. I understood, like, he told me like, oh, I want you to be alive and all those things. But I never understood what he meant until 2 weeks ago, when I realized that like I'm that person that gets to help other people. And sometimes those people may need to leave me to go about their life and go about their day. But they will eventually come back to me, and I'll be able to help them again. And I was never okay with that statement until about 2 weeks ago. But fast forward, all throughout high school, like I kind of changed up. I was like this like emo kid. Like I had my hair on my face. I dated a guy who was not like super nice to me. I wouldn't say that he was like the worst to me, but he just wasn't like the nicest. And we separated, and he was like really my first everything, like the first love of my life. Ghosted me. Okay. After 6 months, ghosted me. You know how boys can be. And we ended up getting back together. I split up with him. I told him, his mom actually sent me gifts for my first baby shower and stuff. So they're amazing people, and I wish them nothing but the best. So if you're hearing this, I hope you're doing good. But I met Isaac, who is now my husband. I actually knew him for a little bit because we grew up together in like the same area, but I finally like started dating him at 18, and Isaac is a felon. He was on the run. We were struggling from a lot of things. And he was actually on a conditions of release, which for those of you who don't know is basically house arrest. So at 18 years old, girl got knocked up a month into it, trapped him. and I was pregnant in high school. I did not have my daughter until after I graduated. Whenever I told everybody that I was having a baby, I had 2 family members get up from the table, walk away, never talk to me again. Sorry, 1 family member. Okay. And then I had other family members hate messaging me. My dad, my mom, my sister, everyone was fairly supportive. But we were broke. Like, we were broke as shit. He went through his probation. We went through all of that. And we just worked really heavily on each other and just being good people, because at 18 years old, you're just not a good person. 18-year-olds just aren't good people. Like, not yet.
I don't think you're like mature. You're not like your brain isn't fully developed to understand what's going on in the world.
You're still very selfish. You're supposed to be. Supposed to be.
Because you have to find you.
Yep, exactly. So with my daughter and then my son, I have literally taken the shirt off my back to make sure that they had a diaper, to create a diaper for them. I've been on WIC. I've been on food stamps to make sure that we had food stamps had formula for her. All the things that we needed. And I worked for a large corporation, Wells Fargo, for a really long time. And 6 months after 2019, my dad died. He suffered from lung cancer for 4 years and he passed away. And Wells Fargo came back 6 months later, amongst a few other things, and let me know that my bereavement wasn't approved. My absences for like my mental health wasn't approved, and they fired me. This was after we were living in a home that we were not living within our means. We were spiraling very, very quickly. We were in $1,000 deficit for like 6 months straight. We ran through our savings. We had $2,000 left to our name, and just kind of decided, are we going to move, or are we going to stay where we are and pay 1 more month of rent and then live in our car, or are we going to move? So we moved. Our current location where we moved, we started a business. My husband is an arborist, and that business took off immensely. I've never been able to live the life that I was able to. And we try to live within our means. We were able to go on vacations though, without having to worry about if the bills were going to be paid whenever we got back. We had employees. We have equipment, all these different things. I'm living comfortably. I'm not having to check the bank account before I go and get groceries. And that's all anybody could ask for, in my opinion. So July, last year was going to be the first year where we were ever making like real money, and we weren't in a deficit every year. Cause if you guys are a business owner, you know what a deficit is like. This is going to be our first year not. He fell 50 feet from a tree, July of 2024, and everything fell with him. They had called me like 4 different times to ask, or to get me to go. One of the employees did, and I had my phone on silent. So anytime I'm on a live, if I mute the live, I always answer the phone now, because if it's my husband, I don't know if he's okay with the job that he has. So I got there faster than the ambulance did. I was 15 minutes away. My kids were with me. And thankfully, long story short, we went to the hospital. They had med flight available, but he walked out of the hospital 6 hours later, which is unheard of.
Wow.
His helmet saved his life. God caught him on his way down. There's really no other, like, people don't fall 50 feet from a tree and don't, like, if you're alive, you're a vegetable.
Yeah.
You're paralyzed. It wasn't until this winter, that we really realized that, like, it actually did a lot more damage than we thought it did. Our business slowed down quite a bit. We had to let go of pretty much all of our employees. We have one. Our payments have been late. Our rent has been late. Over literally last year, for Christmas, we had to utilize Santa's Helpers, which is a local nonprofit here that helps get gifts for kids. And we had to do that. Literally, like, we're in May, 6 months ago. 6 months ago, that's what I was doing, which is crazy, because 2 years ago, we were buying $2,000 worth of bicycles to take to I don't know if you guys have COPE where you guys are, but it's like a domestic abuse shelter.
You were donating.
Yes, for 2 years, we would go and buy bicycles for all the kids at the COPE shelter and go and bring them bicycles. And, like, it wasn't a donation from us. We would, like, tell the moms, like, we want you to give this to your kid. Like, this is your Christmas gift to your kid.
Right.
And Like, so it was like a big ego hit too, to have to be back on these like government assistant programs. I know that that's what they're there for. I get that, but
Yeah.
it sucks. Like, I mean, we were about to buy a home. We lost everything whenever we were buying the home. We we have land that has no water on it, has no electricity on it, and he still works, thankfully, but like his body hurts. There are days where he wakes up and he literally feels like his back is about to break and still gets up and goes to work. So whenever TikTok came to me and said, hey, I don't believe that TikTok did that. I believe that that was blessings coming to me. I believe very strongly that God was like, here you go. I have the solution for you. And I took it and I ran with it. I saw a way that I can change our life. And can I buy groceries without checking the account first? Not yet. Not yet, because almost every penny that I'm making right now is going towards the debt that we had built up. Mm-hmm. But by the end of this year, with how well this has been doing, I will be able to do that. I won't have to do that again. I will, and hopefully I make tenfold. I don't know that I would ever retire him, because if y'all have blue collar men, you know that they don't want to be retired. But if we can start making a little bit of extra money so that we can hire somebody else to do what he's doing, then that's what I want to do. And TikTok has really given me my voice. So that was my plan with TikTok. But everybody in here I don't think you guys, I'm talking to y'all directly. I'm sorry, East Coast, but I got to talk to the chat and I got to tell them, you guys have done so much for me. You have taken that little girl who was bullied and had no friends and had nobody give them a hug, and like turned me into somebody that I never thought that I could be. And I have found my calling with this. And that's why I say, whenever I change this from this is my room to this is y'all's room, I mean it like so deeply. I'm not going to cry, Felicia.
Yeah, but I am. So, all right.
Y'all have changed my life. So monetarily, yes, it's going to be great. But you're reminding me, like, you've shown me that like people do give a shit as to what I have to say. I bet all of you guys that are in here would love to give me a hug. And 14-year-old me could have never imagined one person wanting to give her a hug, let alone 30,000 people. And it's a really good feeling. It's amazing. So, and I get to help other people while I'm at it. And if I can help one other person swipe their card without having to worry about if they can get the ramen in their cart, then it's a fair exchange to me. Girl, you are late to the party. I'm in here bawling.
I didn't want to interrupt. Your story was so amazing, and watching the chat, so many people love
The
your
chat
story.
is just chatting.
They were sitting there saying, "We want to go tell our story now. We love you. We support you. Oh my gosh, they just love you." And I'm gonna let you go back to this, and I'll shut my mouth. But I was going to say that in my family, Donna knows part of my story, not my family, but like my nieces and my sister, they've literally gone through what you have gone through. And if I could tell their story, I don't have permission to do it, but if I could, it would literally be exactly with what you said. She's got 4 kids who went with exactly what you went through, and it was the hardest thing to ever go through as a family member, because you can't do anything. All you can do is love them and support them, and you're not, for like 4 years we were not allowed to ask them any questions while they went through the whole trial. It was the hardest thing ever. So I am glad that you're out here telling your story, because you're going to influence somebody out there who might be afraid not to tell this story. And that was my older niece. It took them a year to crack her, because she was like, no, that's not true. It's not true. And her younger siblings were like, yes, it's true, because she was so scared. So thank you so much for telling this story, because you're going to inspire whether the young girls or young boys to come out and say these types of things. So I'm going to be quiet now.
Yeah.
But,
these people in the chat, like someone in the
these
chat.
people in the chat are loving you right now.
Someone else that, oh my gosh, there was this humongous, inspiring story. See, I know that I was like, oh, Carly, I want you to be on our podcast. I want you to be on our podcast. But the minute I knew I wanted you to be on it was when you were telling your story one day in your live. So I knew that there was a story, and there was a story that had to be shared with people.
Yep.
And the chat is just going bananas.
They're loving you right now.
And it is
They
so
are loving
awesome.
you so
It is
much right
just
now.
so awesome. And you are going to help more than one person, girl, in
Yep.
your life, because you are an inspiration. And always remember that.
I
Yes,
appreciate
you are.
you guys so much. And it's crazy, you know, we don't, I don't know about y'all, but even before all of this, TikTok changed my life too, because like I kind of realized that the weird things about me maybe weren't that weird.
Sure.
Like being bipolar. You want to know how I diagnosed myself as being bipolar, which is probably a sign of bipolar in itself? TikTok. I was like, whoa, like actually, I think that is me. Like, you know what I mean? Or like, I'm not the only mom who like sometimes just doesn't want to hang out with her kids today. Or you know what? I have 12 diapers all over my house too, or however many, you know, I'm sure you guys remember all that, you know, like, wow,
Yeah.
I am not the only one who like feels this way. And that was why I was a consumer. And that was before I was a creator.
Right.
It was showing me that there is just so much more to this than people realize. This is not just an app where people are dancing and having a good time. This is an app that literally, like, I mean, we can not only change lives, we can save a life. We're trying to find one of my friends a kidney, which I'm going to plug him in here right now.
Go ahead.
Go right
If
ahead.
you guys, anybody who is hearing this, my friend, his name is Hey Coach Oliver on TikTok. Please find him on here because he is just looking for a kidney. And I have a really strong feeling that like we can save his life. And you may not be the kidney donor. I may not be the kidney donor, but you can share it to somebody else who is. So, and that's a way that like TikTok can literally save somebody's life. We have friends in here that say like, I've been struggling with postpartum depression so much and I started going live and it feels good. Or I have friends in here, like we talked about, like this is the only adult interaction I've had today.
Yep.
And it's crazy to know what this can do for people and what we have in our hands.
I mean, it really is. And I don't remember if I spoke with you about it when we were saying like, you know, it's not just for kids to come on here and sing and dance. Like it is literally has saved people's lives.
It really has.
I'll tell you like literally like 10-second story of me. I lost my husband about a year and a half ago to prostate cancer. Please, every gentleman out there, please get your prostate numbers checked. And I was so alone. But this phone and this app kept me company. It literally kept me company. And because I didn't want to talk to anybody else. I didn't want to leave my room and I didn't want to talk to anybody. But this phone kept me company. Everybody kept me company. And I met people in here that are truly, truly amazing. And if not, then I would still be sitting in here by myself, like not knowing what to do. So this is something like this is something for all of us. It really, really is. And, you know, if we can share our stories and inspire others, you know, it's amazing. It's amazing. It really is. And it's okay. It's okay if we cry and it's okay if we laugh and it's okay if we have a bad day and we tell people we're having a bad day, right?
No,
Whenever we're in our
absolutely.
lives, we say, how's your day? Like, okay, tell us you had a bad day. Well, you know what? We're going to make you feel better.
And we do.
Yeah.
People on TikTok, let me tell you what. No, I mean, I get a troll here and there, and somebody will come through and tell me I need to be on like Ozempic or like, you know what I mean? Like, I have a few people like that, but overall, like, nobody on TikTok has ever called me rotten grapes. Nobody on TikTok has ever made me feel like less than. And like I said, I bet every single person on here right now would love to give me a hug and wouldn't go and wipe my germs away. There is nobody here. Like, nobody's treated me the way that nobody's ever hit me here. I don't think that anybody's going to. I mean, maybe, I don't know if I end up with like a stalker who like comes and gets me, whatever. I'll meet my maker at that time, I guess. But like, people are so scared to join on this road. But the thing is, like, people in life, real life, are shitty to you anyway. They ignore you anyway. They walk right past you. People get scared of being on a live and like, well, nobody's going to engage. How many people do you walk by across in the store and you just walk right past them? You know, think about it that way. They walk right past you. How often do you stop and look at a stranger? You know, unless they're doing something crazy. And then sometimes you judge them and sometimes you like what they're doing. It's window shopping essentially, but I've never had anybody treat me the way that people do them in real life, ever.
You know, I have a follow-up question for you. When the teacher that told you that you were the lighthouse, have you ever reached out to him again just to like give him like an update on you or tell him how you are or tell him that you still remember that story?
So actually it's so funny that you say that because so 2 weeks ago, I didn't recognize him because he was a bigger guy whenever he was like a 6'4", probably like 350-pound man. And he has lost a lot of weight. And I was sitting down at a table with my husband in our hometown and we were eating dinner. And I just remember somebody behind us, I could have sworn I heard his voice, but I looked at this person and he looked completely different. I didn't say anything. And I am kicking myself for not doing it, but I left. And I looked at Isaac and I was like, I think that was Coach Patterson. And he was like, no, I don't think so. And I was like, no, I think that it was. And that is actually the light bulb moment, the light bulb moment where I was like, oh my God, like this is what he meant.
Story came back to you.
Yeah. And so thank you, Kara. Thank you guys. I don't think he's on Facebook, but, the kid that actually carried me was his son, which might be one of the reasons why that didn't even dawn on me either, but I still see them on Facebook sometimes. And I've been telling Isaac, like, I wanted to get with him and just tell him thank you because like, I needed to hear that.
You know what? And, when you think about it, similar story, my son wrote his college essay about his 4th grade teacher because she inspired him, right? Mm-hmm. And she told him that he went and told her, sent her the essay that he wrote. She was so touched and literally tells everybody that Joey wrote this essay about her. So if you just go and tell him, you know how much that will mean to him and how much it'll make him feel like $1 million that he helped someone and that you remember that story.
I know, I need to. And like I said, I bet he may not even remember it. We were literally sitting on like the stairs.
And he might not.
But I know I need to. It's something it's something I'm trying to figure out how to do.
Yeah, he might not remember it, but if you go to him and tell him whatever he said to you meant so much to him, that's going to mean more to him than remembering what he said because he's going to know. That I have so many friends that are teachers and they say that they'll have a student come and say something to them and they say that's why they became a teacher because all they want to do is affect one person's life. And if they can change one person's life, because they always say, like, I have friends who are teachers and they always say, you don't know what that child is going through at home. And if you can make a difference in their life, in your classroom, that's all they want to do. That's all they want to do. So definitely reach out to him and let him know.
And then come and tell us. And come and tell us that you did that. That's your assignment.
All right, I'll take it.
What so like what are your future goals? I mean, I know you're like very goal oriented.
And by the way, we could probably stay till like 2:15. We'll be okay.
Okay.
But I want to build an empire of people who I'm so serious about that. Like I would eventually, okay. I will tell you, they're kind of like outlandish goals, but I'm going to speak them into existence. So I obviously, like financially, what I want to do, I'm going to talk about that, is because financially, I don't want to be in a yacht. I don't want to do any of that. I literally want to live in maybe a barn dominium, okay, at the most. Oh,
I like it. I like
yes.
it.
And have a couple of single wides out on our 5 acres of land. And I want the single wides because I want my kids, I want a family compound. I want to put them into, I don't want them to have to move out at 18. I want them to move into a house that I have ready for them at 18 so that they can become business owners, because we're done putting money in corporations' pockets. Okay. I am not teaching my kids to be employees. I'm teaching my kids to build wealth and have their money working for them. And in order to do that, I just want to be able to bless them enough to have their own little house. Like if I can handle one of the big bills for them, then that's one less payment that they have to worry about. So that is like my financial goals. And then also, sorry, with that financial goal, something that I would like to do, I actually dropped out of college to do TikTok too, by the way.
Okay.
That's okay. That's
I was
okay.
going to college for cybersecurity, because eventually what I would like to do is create a nonprofit that helps take down child predators online.
Amazing.
Yeah,
I support that 100%.
Yeah.
the percentage of people who have who go missing every minute is outstanding, and every 3 of those 4 people who go missing every minute are children. They're trafficked, and a lot of it is online. So that is something, that's why I was in college, and then I found this, and I'm not really good with all the computer stuff as good as I thought, but maybe the money that I make from here could fund that eventually one day, and we can find a team of people who can do that with me. So those are my financial goals.
You could be a public speaker too.
I love that. I love that goal.
scared to
I
do
support
that.
it.
I'm going to get canceled. I know it. I don't know.
No,
why.
there's
No,
no
you're
canceling.
not.
Don't put
Nope.
it in the universe.
I'm going to say something wrong.
Nope. Nope. Nope.
You're not saying anything wrong. You are doing an amazing job.
Yeah.
I'm
A motivational speaker. I mean, imagine the audiences that would come and listen to what you would have to say.
Yeah. That's.
And
I'm
we
just.
could, we
it's
could
so
be your
much easier
warm up.
behind
We'll
the
be your
screen.
warm up. We'll be like, and now.
It's easier behind the screen. I'll tell you that much. I mean, I need to get a little bit more confidence to do that.
That's okay. That's okay.
But otherwise, I want to build like this empire of like just the everyday, like the moms and the dads who are literally breaking their back trying to work and trying to do all this, and the moms who are struggling to just make ends meet, or maybe the kid that's just right out of college and they can't afford life, or I want to help the addict. I want to help the people that have horrible mental health. I want to help them. Like, I want to build this empire of all these, like, I don't want to call them like minions, but like all these people that are just making money together. I have a few friends. Amanda, Mom Life is one of them. Social Sprout is another, where we've kind of tossed around the idea of like different classes and stuff that we could do, like monthly memberships where people can come in, like affordable, not anything that's like this huge packet of stuff that's like $500 and we like trick you into selling it somewhere else, you know? We've talked about like doing these classes and creating e-products for everybody, but like I don't know how I'm going to scale this yet because it is so new, but I know that I'm going to. And while I'm doing it, like if I can help out a million other people while I'm doing it, like that really is the goal. My husband's told me before that I should be a motivational speaker. He's told me I should just get away with yapping. And I am a yapper. The thing is, I'm not going to lie to you guys, okay? I sucked on MySpace. I was not a good person on MySpace. Facebook, okay? Stacy, oh my goodness, thank you, Stacy.
Do you think people are going to like Google
Pull up
you
anything
and be
I've
like,
ever done, yeah.
well, you know what? If you're going to fault someone for what they did 10 or 5 or 10 or 20 or 30 years ago, well, then you know what? You don't need to be in this space.
Another thing that I'm just going to put it out here because, like I said, I like to tell people everything bad about me. I was like an online dominatrix. and would tell men that they sucked. And there's definitely some photos of me out there. Thank you, Stacy, for doing that. And I'm like, I just know that they're going to like start to resurface.
Well, can you get someone to go and scrub them?
Girl, I don't know. I don't know how to do that yet.
Right. Well, you know what? We'll work together. We'll fix it for you. Come on.
I will say,
You know
though,
what?
that was very
Everybody has a past. If they sit there and tell
Yeah.
you that they're innocent, I wouldn't trust them with my life. I'm sorry.
Exactly.
I
Come
would
on.
not trust that person with my life if they told me they were innocent as a bug and never did anything wrong.
You're right. You're right. So
Yeah, come on.
I wish that there was, I don't know about you guys, but Philip, Santa's in here. Philip, thank you. I don't know about you guys, but I have always, I always wish that like, God would just like come and tell me exactly what to do. Like that's kind of what we want on this app. Like we want somebody to tell us exactly what to do, when to do it, how to do it, and how to be successful. Like, God, what do I do now? I have $1,000. Somebody tell me where to put it and what to do with it. Like that's what I want. But like that's not the reality of things, and that's not how it works. And I like there's no like billboard that says it. There's no billboard that tells you what next steps to take. And I don't know. I'm also kind of I'm a head first type of person. So if I figure out what I'm going to do, I'm just going to start doing it without telling anybody. I'm just going to like start pouring money into doing it and just try it and just wing it. That's another thing too. I should have discussed this too, but I want to say that after my dad died, I received an inheritance. Okay. Blew it within. This is whenever I found out that there was something like kind of wrong with my brain. And I realized that I had gone into a huge manic episode, and I spent all of this money creating a smoke shop business. And so I was doing the 304 stuff. I was working for the state. I was running this business, and I had an online smoke shop. Over $13,000 did I spend on that. And it's all sitting in a storage shed. Because this is what I do. Thank you. And my husband was like, this is like ridiculous. You've got to seek therapy. Like we've got to get this figured out. And one of the things I love about TikTok is that, yes, there is a lot of money that thank you guys so much that we could be spending on here. But like, it's something that I don't have to like have like any stock for really. Like the samples are great. They just come to me. JJ, you say 13,000 is nothing, but it was all that we had. And if I would have saved it, and if I would have done it nicely, whenever I lost my job at Wells Fargo, we could have used that to pay for bills instead of paying for what I spent it on. So
Do you think that's a lesson learned, or do you think that you still have to work on that? Because some people make that mistake many, many, many times.
I'm the kind of crazy I'll buy, and I have before bought plane tickets to Dubai without having a passport. So probably not. That's probably not something that's going to change. But I will. What I try to do is I try to. I don't even know how to explain it. I try to find things that don't cost a lot of money for me to start doing. And TikTok is, I'm not going to lie, I have invested a lot of money into TikTok, but it just happened to be one of those things that worked for me. But TikTok is a really great option for people who have mental health issues as well, because if you are feeling yourself getting a little too far, you can just turn off the screen. You can just turn off your phone and come back 2 months later whenever you're ready to start again.
It's true. It's true.
Yep, very true. I've done it.
Yeah. I don't know where that actually lied in the story. I should have put that in there. Like, I don't know how well that flew with the podcast, but I thought that was really important.
You know what? Actually, that is good because I have a nephew on my husband's side of the family. So for the ones who don't know in here, my husband is originally from Africa. He's from Nigeria. So he grew up in a really poor remote village, like mud huts. Not even lying. I could show pictures, but he did. And he had a nephew who got a little greedy with his money, started a little business and got greedy and started investing in things and losing money, investing and losing. And he called me, maybe a couple months ago, asking for $30,000 so that yeah, exactly right. I don't have $30,000, just throwing it out there now. I don't. But he, for some reason, thought we did because we own our own business, so that he could pay off his quote unquote investors. And I was like, I love you. I was like, but I'm not going to I said, I love you, but I don't trust you because this is not your first rodeo down this road. Every time you come to me crying, telling me you've made this mistake, we're on like row number 6 now that you've done this 6 times. I was like, I will be here to love you and support you. I was like, but I'm not giving you money because I don't trust what you're going to do with it. So no, what you've done is amazing because you're sharing stories with people that, hey, this is me. Other people could be out there and they could be potentially wanting to do the same thing because my nephew has done it many times. I know he's not done. He'll keep doing it. So
Yeah, no, and I will probably do it again a time or two. I'm just trying to figure out how to. That's why it's why I've been a little bit hesitant to kind of like take this off in a different direction because I'm scared that I will dive too far into something else and I'll not stay on.
Well, you started the right thing by sharing your story because, like I said, your story is absolutely going to help people. And then once we get it posted on, YouTube and Spotify, other people will be encouraged to tell their story. Like I told you, it took the social workers an entire year to crack at the time my 15-year-old niece because she was like, absolutely, my younger siblings are lying. Said person, I can't say who it is, but said person did not do this to us. And they knew they just had to get her to admit it. And by having somebody like you come and share your story, whatever it is, from your husband becoming injured and walking out of the hospital and not being able to pay, not knowing if you're going to have money, in your bank account, pay your bills, have food on the table for your babies or this or that. You are saying, I am a normal person. So, because sometimes people look at us, they're like, oh, they're so good, they're wealthy, they're this, that, their life is perfect. But coming out here and sharing your story, you're like, I'm just like you guys. Our stories, some little bits of your story will resonate, I guarantee you, with all 81 people in this chat. One part of your story will resonate with somebody in one way, shape, or form. So you're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing. Sharing your story is where you start to encourage other people and help people.
Yeah, you're here for a reason. We're here for a reason.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. And I hope that everybody who is listening to this right now or listening to this whenever it's uploaded will just take a chance on yourself because like it might just change your life. You may go live and right before you're going to give up, if the thought process that should be whether or not you're going to click go live or click post is this could change my life.
Yep.
This exact moment, my life could be changed. And maybe it's not coming in just yet. Maybe it's not until next week. Maybe it's not until next year. Maybe it was yesterday. Maybe it's in 2 hours. But eventually, it is going to come to you, and you just have to. You have to allow it. You have to allow it time to resonate too.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and you have an awesome tribe behind you, which is great.
It's really cool to see them come through. Like,
yep.
Like, I tell people all the time, like if I had 70 people there, so right now for anybody, if you're watching this on YouTube or anything like that, usually this room has like 200 to 300 people in it. Because we usually do something a little bit different in the room and everybody, I have my own selfish reasons for the room. Everybody comes into this room and does what they need to. And right now we're not what I want to say, like quote, working in this room right now. So, sometimes it can be a little discouraging. Like even right now, I'm like, man, like I wish all 200 people were in here, like listening to this. But the thing is right now, if 82 people were standing in front of you, or if 10 people were standing in your house saying, we love you, we want to hear from you, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's enough. That's enough. Today alone, just in this 1 hour, we've had over 1,000 people come through the live. And what if 1,000 people were saying, hey, I kind of want to hear your story. I'm interested. Mm-hmm. What if 1,000 people walk past you at the grocery store and actually stop to say, how are you today?
Yeah. Always be kind. Always be kind because you don't know what other people are going through.
Exactly. And I always have taught my kids to never, ever judge anybody. For example, when I talked about with my nieces and nephews went through, they had the bikers against child abuse that packed the courtroom. And every one of them wearing leather. They were tatted from head to toe. Oh. And my little nephew had said to me, he goes, I was scared, but I knew they were there to protect me. So, I mean, a 5-year-old who's just went through, which I'm not going to say, y'all can just use your
Yeah.
imagination, sat there and said that 250-pound scary looking man who he knew was going to protect him over the evil person sitting across the courtroom, because he was taught to never judge, to always love somebody, give somebody a chance, and then go from there.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's so sweet. I'm gonna make me cry.
Sorry.
If we ever want to do a follow-up, like, circle back around with you, maybe do like a Q&A night or something like that,
Yeah.
because I know that you have to go and pick up your kids, and I know a lot of people have questions, and there's been so much going on in the chat. So if you want to, like a Q&A and answer people's questions, that would be good. If you want, if we can figure that out.
Yeah, no.
I know you have to get your kids, so I don't want to.
I know we were gonna
rush
try to
people's
over-
questions.
I think I could probably do like 5 minutes of a Q&A if anybody, like, if you guys see a question in the chat that we can. I live like really close to the school. I just like to get myself a little bit. Hey, Papa Bean.
Let's see.
If anybody has a question for Carly, you want to pop it in the chat, that would be awesome.
I'm looking right now. They're just saying thank you. They love this. They love the real talk. Yeah, if we don't get any questions and you guys absolutely want to do questions and Carly wants to do it, you guys can always email it to us and or email it to her and we can go, or you actually email it to us and then we'll send it to her, because I know she gets a billion more emails than we do. And we can narrow them down and she can look at them in advance and we can do this.
That's a really good idea, actually, to have them email you, because then the next time we do it, you'll have them. Ray, the fragments, I would much rather explain on like one of our normal lives, if that's okay with you, my friend, or if you message me. LA Angel, you should probably, if I were you on that question that you just asked in there, I don't know if I can say that out loud on the live.
Yeah.
I would,
You got to call child services.
Yeah, I was going to say CPS.
That's the best way to do it, honestly.
My top 3 tips for going live.
Yeah. Do you have 3 that you could share?
It is, so my first one is literally like fake it until you make it. Fake it until you make it. You have to be confident. My second one is keep talking. If you are just sitting there not doing anything, people are going out of the live and they're just watching you sit there and wait for somebody to talk. And it looks boring and people don't like it. And my third one is trial and error. Try something. If it doesn't work, try another thing. If that doesn't work, try another thing. My tip for getting followers, come hang out in my live, in our live.
Yep.
Come hang out in our
Absolutely.
room. If you're wanting to grow your account, come hang out with me.
Yeah.
The new rules on TikTok, I will say that I was just in a meeting with one of my managers and they said that that's not like a legitimate thing that's going on. So I've got to do a little bit of research about that. I think that's just a thing that like these conventionally beautiful creators just start spewing out of their mouth. So that way
They gain more.
they gain more. Yeah, they're just gatekeeping. It's not real. Personally.
And just be true. Just be yourself, guys. When you go live, just be yourself. Don't be someone fake. Post stuff that people are going to like, and just be authentic. And that's how you bring people in.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
That's what we do. We have fun. You gotta make it like she says. This isn't my room. This isn't Donna's room. This isn't Carla's room. This is our room. So when you bring people in, you make it our room. So if you come into our lives at night, we'll sit there. If you look at the little subby stickers, you'll be like, what in the actual heck? It's because all of our subs that are in there, or people that are in there, have requested to have really funny stickers. And so they have their own funny stickers. So it's our room and their funny stickers.
Yep.
I love that.
Can we plug us for a minute, if you don't mind?
Please do.
There's 76 people in here. I would be wonderful if you could all give us a follow. East Coast Opinions Podcast. I'm Donna. This is Nick. She is my co-host. We are live every night, Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We also, like she said, we love to have fun. We have a sub contest going on right now. As soon as we're very close to our goal of 25 subs, right, Nick?
Yes, 25.
And then we're having contests. You can win a tumbler from Stolen Acres, and they'll engrave your TikTok name into the tumbler. That's who made our signs for us, which we just got them. If you could come in at 7:00 and hang out for a little while, it would be wonderful. We could use all the support. If you could tell your friends, just come in and, tap the screen and share for a little while and maybe do a little chit chat in the chat. You don't have to stay for hours, but if you could just support us, that would be so, so wonderful. We would really appreciate it.
Who are your next podcasts coming up so that they can be on the eye for it?
We don't have a date yet, but do you want me to say who it is?
No,
Go for it. Go for
no
it.
competition, collaboration.
She already knows who it is. You already know who it is, so go ahead and say it.
Oh, 80s and Scrub is our next one. And he wants to do a weekend, so we're just trying to figure out a date. And his story is amazing. So that'll be the next one that everybody can come and, be inspired by. And I just think that we are all just one big family.
100%.
And
That's really cool.
Yeah, it's a wonderful thing. Nick, did I miss anything, Nick?
Nope. We're going to let Carly go. She's got to go get her babies. But as soon as I get this, I will download it. I will edit a few, put it in things, and I'll get it on YouTube, on Spotify, and I will give access to Carly to it, and she can do what she wants with it. So thank you guys so much, Carly. Thank you so much for your inspiring story. You probably don't know this, but you absolutely were a blessing to probably all 70, 80 something people that rolled through here at some point. You resonated with them. And I saw a lot in here that say you've inspired them to go tell their story now. So we appreciate that.
Thank you. And I see a lot of people commenting right now, trying to ask you guys specific questions. Like, is it easy to start a podcast, different things like that? And if you guys are related. And what I'm going to tell you guys right now is go and ask them. They're going to be live probably this evening, I'm guessing.
Yep. Tonight at 7.
Tonight at 7, yep.
Go over there and go ask them and get to know them a little bit.
Yep. We'll answer any questions.
Yeah.
Yeah. Harley, thank you again. We love you very, very much. And thank you for sharing.
Thank you guys so much. I can't wait to see the next one. And we'll do another one. I like this. Next time
Absolutely,
I'm
guys.
live.
Yeah, I think we should do a Q&A. I think that would be cool.
Yeah.
Send all your questions to us.